Moving forward to an old ACC matchup, no longer the ACC. It is Virginia at Maryland. Maryland, a 14.5 point favorite, has an over-under 49 points, almost pushing up on that 50, but not quite there. This game kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern on FS1. I'm seeing that this opened, like when I say extremely briefly, I mean in seconds, moved away from Maryland minus 20. Let me repeat to you, minus 20 down to minus 14.5. So a lot of money coming in on Virginia here. Tony Muskett, the starting quarterback for Virginia, did miss last week with an injury. Now, the backup, true freshman, Anthony Calandria, he completed 77% of his passes and threw for 377 yards on James Madison. I mean, he's 5'11", 180. He's not the biggest dude running around out there. Again, true freshman, but absolutely lit it up. Looked really good, made some plays in a weird game that was rain delayed for hours and hours and hours. But Tony Elliott said that Muskett will probably start on Friday. He was a full go practice today, Tuesday, as we're recording here, and he expects him to be back in the lineup. I've seen a lot of people calling for Calandria to start this game after what he was able to do in that one brief showing. Maryland, Tyrese Chambers, their star transfer wide receiver from FIU, he missed week 2. You have an offensive lineman. I am going to butcher this, but I'm going to try my best anyway. Gottlieb Ayadze, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm very sorry to that. I think I definitely butchered that. But either way, he's also expected to play starting offensive lineman after missing the first 2 games. So they're getting some of their guys back. The offensive line got absolutely no push against Charlotte, of all teams, on that Saturday night primetime matchup that they stuck on NBC. I will be honest, did not watch a lot of that game. But looking at the offensive line really, really struggled there against Charlotte, which not exactly, Maryland's not exactly the team to come in and punish you for that, but that's pretty concerning. And then on the other side, their wide receivers, they have 7 drops so far in the first 2 games. That's tied for the third most among teams with 2 games. That's 13%, by the way, of all of Tulia's attempts have been dropped. So dealing with some struggles here for the Terps.
It's not great. Yeah, I just give you credit for attempting to pronounce names. That's why QB1, O-line, offensive tackle, corner. I just go with positions. I love it. I have Maryland minus 15.5, Brett. It's an 86% chance to win. You mentioned this. The Terps got off to a slow start last week against Charlotte on NBC in primetime in a game I previewed for thelines.com. I even talked about in the preview for that, like, Tagovailoa is by himself. Like, he's got no one. He's the only player on that team who last year was a all Big Ten selection at any of the first team, second team, or third team. There's no one else on that team, offense or defense, special teams, that is on this year's roster that was a all Big Ten selection last year. Like, it is him, and that is it. And we talked about that, and it showed for a bit. And again, they were the better team, and they were a more talented team, and eventually that came through. They eventually pulled away and won by 18. Maryland's power rating, though, offensive unit rank, defensive unit rank, have all remained within 5 spots of their preseason rankings, and the projected win totals remained within 0.2 games of their preseason realistic expectations as well. So the model for however we get there, the model has been dialed in on the results and the performance of this Maryland team through 2 weeks, again, against FCS Townsend and a not great low-level FBS Charlotte. The Terps should cruise in this one because Virginia's among the worst Power 5 teams in 2023, so this is not going to be really any more of a difficult test almost than in either of their previous 2 games. The Virginia offense has been about what I expected, perhaps even slightly better. They've moved from number 125, again, we have 133 teams, 125 to number 118. This defense has been dreadful, though. I foolishly, as it turns out, thought this was potentially going to be a top 30 unit. They've fallen all the way to number 71. I mean, that's a massive fall for 2 weeks. Again, it's not like you're just, okay, replace everything we had in the preseason with what we have in season. No, like a preseason weight of top 30 is still in the model, a decent amount, and you've fallen all the way to number 71. Your in-season performance has been that bad. Again, likely to drop further because there is not a single game on Virginia's schedule in which I make the Cavaliers a favorite. Not one. Even FCS William and Mary in week 6, a home game, I make it a pick 'em right now and a 49% chance to win for Virginia. Like, it's a bad team. Bottom line, Maryland minus 15.5, 14% chance for Virginia to pull off the upset here.
I'm going to put, well, so you are absolutely correct in saying that Talia is the only returning all Big Ten member. I am going to push back a little bit, though. They do have another dude on this team, and it's a bet that I placed. Roman Hemby their running back is a dude. The bet that I placed in this game, the skin that I have here, I took over 68.5 rushing yards. You can find that at FanDuel. I expect it to climb. That, to me, is a misprice. He's averaging over 5 yards per carry after contact. That is the 7th most in the country among players that have at least 20 rushes in the 2 or 3 games that they played here. Virginia's 131st in rush EPA and defense. Last year, that would have been last. This year, it's third to last because we added 2 more teams. 131st in rush EPA. And Hemby, he's an explosive runner. That's what he does. He breaks tackles and he breaks 70, 80-yard runs. So I love this Roman Hemby number. I mean, he's one of those players that could just cover that in one single rush. So, give me Roman Hemby over that to run over this defense that you said is absolutely regressing. And the offense is, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Tony Elliott has successfully just dismantled this team's ability to run an offense. They had a 4,000-yard passer in Brennan Armstrong, who, to be honest, doesn't really look all that good at NC State either. So I don't know what Tony Elliott came in and did. Just crushed it. He brought up Tony Muskett from the FCS, who is a pretty accomplished passer, and just turned him into nothing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Calandra can turn this team around. We'll see.
It's a long hill to climb.
It is, yes. It's one that I don't believe Tony Elliott will be overseeing by the end of this year.
Most likely not.